Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
You know that thing that you love? You'll find others geeking out about it on Facebook. Whether you're looking for community or inspiration, Facebook helps turn passion into action. Obsessed with running a marathon? Discover a neighborhood run club group. Start training and meet your new neighbor. Thinking about cooking more at home? Connect with meal prep groups to discover recipes in a new community. And as you're scrolling the feed, you may even find reels showing you top running shoes or the best tools for your culinary journey. This summer, find more on Facebook.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let's get right out to the zone phone. Joining us now, of course, you see him on KSL Channel 5 and the new program, KSL Sports Front Row as well. He is our buddy Sam Farnsworth. What's up, Sam?
Jake, what's happening, my man? It's good to hear from you.
Oh, no, I'm so glad you could come on. We really appreciate it. Ben's off doing the Yellowstone thing, so, we got to pull out the big guns when Ben's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know about that, but hey, Yellowstone's, I like it up there. It's been a while, but I like it up there. It's a good vacation. Good for Ben. Go see Old Faithful, I guess, right? Some bison, whatever.
Yeah, just don't get wrecked like that one guy a couple of weeks ago.
Exactly. Keep your distance.
How's the front row thing going? I love this idea, you and Jeremiah and Sly.
Yeah, it's still evolving, right? But it's been a lot of fun. I mean, this is something that Jeremiah kind of pitched, and it really is a great idea, with the evolution of what sports media is, just being able to go to a platform like YouTube where we're not restricted with time limits. We're not restricted with content ideas or things like that. We can really just be creative and take as much time as it needs to discuss the topics we want to talk about and get the guests we want to get on. So it's been really fun. Yeah, me, Jeremiah, and Sly, kind of a debate-style program where we hit some of the hot topics of the week, and then we'll bring on a guest or two. More recently, our guests have been the plethora of interviews we were able to pick up down at Big 12 Media Days that we've been plugging in there. And then we'll have a little fun at the end, too, like do some blind rankings or some social media trends or something like that, too. But it's been a lot of fun. And, for those who aren't familiar with it that are listening, it's on the KSL Sports YouTube page. And this last week's guests were LJ Martin and Wayshawn Parker. So it was a good episode. Tim Lacombe was on with us this time around. And, we'll be putting out the new episode here in 2 days. So,
want to get your reaction. We can get to some football coming up too, but your reaction to LeBron going to the city of brotherly love.
I know, right? Like, it's funny because we have a guy who works on our studio crew for KSL TV who's a big Philadelphia fan, sports fan, and so he's a big Sixers fan. And we always I still joke with him all the time about, hey, man, you just got to trust the process. And he gave up on the LeBron idea a while ago. So when it hit, getting his reaction over the weekend was pretty classic. He was just absolutely through the moon. That he feels like maybe this is finally the end. It's been since '83, right? That Philadelphia's won a title. So for me, I don't know that I guess I just didn't feel like Philly was the spot for them. I thought, okay, Philly's in a good spot. They already got Jaylen Brown with the trade. They've got Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. You got VJ Edgecombe, who is an up-and-coming star in the league. I kind of liked the roster they had and the possible trajectory that they were headed towards. And now you add LeBron to it. It makes it really, really interesting because I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I believe at this stage in his career. He's still great, but he certainly, I don't think, can carry a team, right? He's got to leave that up to those other names that I mentioned. But having him as an addition to that roster, that could make things really, really interesting in Philadelphia and in the Eastern Conference.
LeBron is always concerned about the PR, right? And so this surprised me. I thought the PR move was to go back to Cleveland, for the narrative. Yep. I thought if it was about the lifestyle, he would go to Miami because, why not, right? And I actually thought that was a better basketball fit than Cleveland or Philly for that matter. But I'm surprised he went with Philadelphia because I feel like the PR on it is just like Karl Malone going to the Lakers. Yeah. I feel like it's a little bandwagony, a little desperate.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought Cleveland was the best fit. I thought it would be the great ending to his career story, right? To go back home one more time, wrap it up there, still on a roster that would be good enough to potentially contend in the Eastern Conference and maybe win a ring, but no one would point a finger and say, man, you're just trying to go get one more ring. They would just say, hey, he's going to finish it off where it all began, back in his home. And if they got another ring, it would be a cherry on top. But you're right. This move kind of looks like, okay, I need to add one more move to my legacy. And, yeah, I'm going to be the good guy here. I'm going to take the veteran minimum. I'm going to take a big discount so that they can keep these other stars, and we're going to go out and cash in and find another ring. So that is kind of the perception. That is kind of what it feels like with this move by LeBron. You're 100% right that from a PR standpoint, not the greatest move. I still think Cleveland would have been just a great way to wrap it up, but obviously that's not what's happening. And so here he goes. Is he going to get that other ring? I kind of, I think it's, I don't know. I'm still up in the air because I say no, it's not going to happen. But then I keep thinking about everyone else on that roster, and maybe it will. But it really does feel like this is him pushing to solidify his legacy, that he's trying to make a statement that he is the greatest of all time, that he needs another ring, that he can go off into the sunset like Jordan did with a championship, something like that. And this is his best chance to do it. It feels like that's what the thought process is with this decision.
So who's the favorite in the East now?
Man, it's hard because I really liked Boston. Obviously, Jaylen Brown, him leaving changes things there. What does Indiana look like with a healthy Tyrese Halliburton coming back? Are they a team that can get back to the finals that they did 2 years ago? I feel like, that's just a really interesting story there. Man, who is the favorite in the East, right? Jake. See,
I think it's got to be Philly or New York. I tell you, I don't put Cleveland in that discussion if I'm kind of weighing into it. Coach Lacombe loves Atlanta. I don't know if they're quite there yet. I think the East has some depth to it, but as far as who's the favorite, and I was not a Knicks lover to begin with, but I'd probably put Philly and New York there.
Yeah, I kind of feel like New York is a one-hit wonder, right? They'll be competitive for sure. For me, it's Philly and Cleveland. Although not LeBron, but Donovan, obviously, his playoff track record isn't great, and if he's the guy leading that team, it just feels like maybe they won't get very, very far in the postseason again. But I do think the East, this might be more depth in the East than there's been for a while. And so I guess maybe that's why it's a little harder for me to really hitch my wagon to any team out there quite yet.
Flipping over to the Jazz, I'm curious for your take on what happened with Walker Kessler and how that's adjusted your expectations going into the season.
Yeah, it's interesting because this was a team that as soon as they made that, even before they made the pick at number 2, right, to get Peterson, as soon as they landed that pick at number 2, it felt like, okay, they made the trade earlier to get Jaren Jackson during the season. They got the number 2 pick. You've got pieces like, obviously Lowry and, Keontae and his emergence this last year. I thought Ace Bailey was developing great towards the end of the season. I really liked his trajectory. And now you're adding that number 2 pick to it. It felt like, okay, this is going to be a team that I felt was expected to be a top 6 team, not just a play-in team, but a top 6 solidified in the playoffs type of team. The move of Walker Kessler going to LA, I feel like maybe puts the Jazz on even a play-in bubble a little bit. I still think they're good enough. I have this argument with Jeremiah that I think, and it's not like it's an intense argument or anything, but he feels like they're probably more of a play-in at best team. I still feel like they are on that 6 seed bubble where they can compete for that and get into the playoff. But Walker Kessler, without a doubt, changes what they're going to look like. This could be a team that wins I don't know, 45 games this year where they outscore their teams, 130 to 120, throughout the year instead of that defense. Jaren Jackson's a better defender. He's a great defender. He's a better defender when he's next to a big, solid five that can also protect the rim. So the Jazz don't really have that. And so that's where I think it's going to be a little more interesting. I still believe the Jazz are a playoff caliber team. They should be in the postseason. I think that should be the expectation. However, again, they're going to be in a lot of shootouts, I think, this year, a lot of offensive shootouts.
Here's where maybe I'll side with you a little bit, although Jeremiah could certainly turn out to be right, of course, because Nurk is not Walker Kessler, and he's certainly not the solution. But who else in the West besides the Jazz got any better? I mean, I would argue Denver is the same, or if not worse. I don't know. I don't know if you're loving LaMelo Ball in Minnesota, but that doesn't really do a lot for me. Oklahoma City deserves credit for not losing a ton of guys, but they didn't add any either. Same. Really with San Antonio. I mean, we all love Walker, right? I don't think he makes the Lakers all that much better than they were last year. Better, yes, but I mean, are all of a sudden they're the favorite in the West? Not really. So I would argue, who in the West did get better?
I don't think from like an addition or subtraction standpoint, certainly from an addition standpoint, I don't think that there were any teams that really got better in the Western Conference. But from a trajectory standpoint, I still think of how young the talent is in San Antonio, and if they're healthy, how much better they can be next year. I still think San Antonio is going to be really good next year, probably even the number one team in the West. I still think Oklahoma City is going to be great. As long as you have SGA playing in his prime with some of those guys around him, you're going to be a really, really good team. And so I think those two teams, just from a sheer progression, the progression of the natural progression of a team and of individual talent. From that standpoint, I think those two teams still are able to continue to push the ceiling and maybe even take a step forward. But outside of that, I agree with you. I don't think anyone else did anything to get better, which is part of the reason why I believe the Jazz window opens up for them to be in the playoff hunt, because Denver certainly, it feels like their window is shut, look, they have one of the best players in the world in Nikola Jokic, but they don't really have much else. And it just feels like there probably isn't a lot left in their tank. And, I kind of feel similarly with Minnesota. So for me, it's in the West, it's the Spurs and Oklahoma City again as your top two teams. But really after that, it's kind of a crapshoot. And I think the Jazz are in that mix.
Switching gears to Big 12 football, because you and I were both down at Media Days. It was fun to see you guys do it, and I know you gathered a lot of great content because I saw you darting all over and getting everybody, so I'm sure it's been fantastic. But let's start here. If you were to rank the top, 3, 4, 5 schools, whatever you want to do in the Big 12, if we still did the poll, what would you have put?
I still have Texas Tech 1. So back when KSL Sports, when we all did our vote, we did our KSL Sports preseason poll since the Big 12 didn't do it, and the poll came out with Texas Tech and BYU 1, 2. That's how I voted. But as time has passed since then, I feel like that gap is pretty close between Texas Tech and BYU. I think BYU has a very legitimate chance at winning the Big 12 this year, just with the amount of talent that returns. The percentage of contribution from last season, the percentage of production from last season returning to this season, BYU has the second most in the conference by a slim margin to Texas Tech. So I think there's a lot of valuable talent on both those teams come back. I still think they're the 1-2 in the league, but I think it could go either way. However, and maybe this is me just being a little bit more of a Utah media homer, Salt Lake City media homer, but I feel like Utah is just one step behind. And I initially had them 4th or 5th in the conference. I feel like they're probably right up there, close to 3rd. Maybe Arizona's in that mix too. But for me, the big question is, obviously all the coaching changes up at the U, especially offensively. I like Kevin McGiven a lot. What does his offense look like? compared to Jason Beck. So with the talent that he has coming back, Devin Dampier is dynamic. Bird Ficklin is electric. You add a guy, from a receiving standpoint in Braden Hagan from from Utah State, who is outstanding up there in the Mountain West. Can he repeat that success against Big 12 talent? Wayshawn Parker is super hungry. He wants to get that 1,000-yard mark more than ever when he came up just short last year. So I like the drive and the hunger and the desire in a first-year Morgan Scalley team up at the U to maybe make some noise. It feels like that game between Utah and BYU in November could decide which of those two teams is going to go to the Big 12 championship. Now, my hot take on our front row episode from Big 12 Media Days was this, that Texas Tech has a hiccup somewhere along the way that leaves the door open, and BYU and Utah rematch again in the Big 12 championship game. I think that's a possibility. It's probably slimmer than the possibility of one of those teams meeting Texas Tech, but I still think it's a real possibility. So for me, those are my top three teams in the league this year. Again, maybe that's me drinking a little bit of Utah BYU Kool-Aid, but at the same time, I really like what they're bringing back to the football field this year.
No, it's you thinking about content, like the rest of us, who are thinking to ourselves, wow, wouldn't that be great if they played again in the conference title game? Man, that would be terrific for KSL Sports. We'd be all over that dang thing. No, I think you're thinking with your sports broadcaster brain, which I absolutely love. I thought, speaking back at Big 12 Media Days, and I thought BYU put a good foot forward. Kalani always does, so don't get me wrong. But I thought Utah, with the players they brought, Morgan Scalley, who is just naturally more charismatic than Witt. No offense to Witt. Morgan's just kind of got that personality. You and I both have known him for a long, long time. I thought Utah put an unbelievable foot forward at Big 12 Media Days. I was so impressed. Yeah,
I agree 100%. And it feels like, for those of us who remember what it was like, the BYU rivalry in the LaVell-Ron McBride days, it feels kind of similar, like we're kind of going back to that where the rivalry is a lot more fun, more amicable. It's still fierce and intense from a player standpoint and from a fan standpoint, but the coaches bridging the gaps and the relationships that they have, I feel like it just makes it that much more fun. However, it's even at a much better talent level, with much higher stakes on the line. But yeah, the Utah, and Morgan especially, he is so good with the media and just knocked it out of the park. And every time he spoke, people were glued and were listening and were like, well, who is this new head coach? Even though he's been around for a while, people have known who he is. They didn't really get to listen to him and hear him talk football the way he was able to at Big 12 Media Days. And I think he certainly has endeared himself to more of the broader Big 12 media, which, when Utah came into the league, a lot of the Big 12 media and fan bases out there certainly did not like the Utah fan base for kind of, keeping their nose up in the air, so to speak, thinking that maybe they were bigger and better than the Big 12. But I think Morgan is helping to bridge that a little bit. And, they did such a good job from a media standpoint, from a presentation standpoint down there at Big 12 Media Days.
Who was your favorite convo down there? You guys caught up with a lot of folks. Who stood out?
Morgan was great. That was my first real kind of in-depth. And obviously our conversation was myself, Sly, and Jeremiah, the three of us talking to him together. But, Kalani, as always, he brought the humor, he was able to poke fun at Sly a little bit in our interview because he coached Sly at the U. So that made it a lot more fun too. And then just the maturity of Bear Bachmeier. He was a fun interview too, not just kind of a vanilla, reading the Cliff Notes answers type thing, to a media interview. I thought he did really well and was a fun interview. Letting us kind of on the inside see kind of the work that he's been putting in and what his expectations are for a second year at BYU. So, we had so many good conversations, as you guys did as well. But those were probably the most fun ones.
Yeah, it was. I mean, everybody's in such a good mood at media days,
Right.
and yeah, it makes it for a fun event.
Optimism is always at an all-time high at media day. Everyone's going to win the conference. Everyone's going to be, offensive player of the year or whatever. Yeah, it's which makes it fun for us to do our interviews because no one's in an upset, ticked off, we just lost mood. So,
how do you think Witt's going to do at Michigan?
I like him. I still like Coach Witt as a leader and as a head coach. I think he definitely knows his football. I think I just really like the way, just the way he coaches his teams. He does not succeed very often, if that makes sense. And I like the coaches that he brought with him up there, some of the talent that was able to follow him up there, some of the talent that chose to stay with the coaching change and Witt going up there. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him. There's no doubt about that. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to deliver. And with their athletic director stepping down, is it after this year, I want to say? I can't remember when he's stepping down.
It's at the end of the year, I believe. But I don't know if it's school year or calendar year. I can't remember.
Right. So either way, you start to think, okay, when a new AD comes in, they want to stamp, put their fingerprints all over the program. And one of the best ways to do that with a Big Ten program is with the football program, right? And so sometimes I think, okay, if there's any hiccups along the way, especially with an athletic director leaving and a new one, eventually coming in, could that mean Witt is on a shorter leash? Does he have to deliver this year? Does he have to deliver a 9 or 10 win season, be on the cusp of a playoff, go to a bigger bowl game type thing? What does he have to do to ensure that whoever new AD is that comes in says, yeah, you're still the right guy for the job to stick around and doesn't want to make some sort of shake up there? Maybe I'm reading too far into AD changes, but whenever there's an AD change at any school anywhere, that's usually one of the first thoughts that come to my mind is, okay, how do they want to change their athletic department to put their fingerprints on the program? So, but overall, I think he's in a good situation. I think he'll do just fine. Obviously, you got to beat Ohio State. If you beat Ohio State, you're doing a pretty good job up there, and it probably provides a little bit of job security. But I am optimistic that he'll be a 9 to 10 win head coach out there.
You doing TV tonight?
I'm off tonight,
oh,
man.
Look at you.
I kind of feel like I've taken a lot of time off lately, but this is our slow time, and it's been good. It's been rejuvenating for me, and I am getting excited for football to start. I saw that there's a lot of training camps starting this week in the NFL, and I listened to a little bit of Devin Lloyd talking to the Carolina media for the first time yesterday, and it got me getting excited for football. It's not too far away.
Do you have a hobby? What do you do with your downtime? And you're a dad and an active dad, and your downtime is rare, I know. But are you into something? Like, I like to collect vinyl records. Do you have a hobby?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I like that. I would love to see some of your collection sometime. Hobbies. Yeah, my main hobby is dad. That's not much of a hobby, but my kids are all involved in sports and super busy that way, so that keeps me busy. However, this time of year, usually I kind of have a green thumb. I love to garden.
Wow.
I think it just came from my dad. He had me working in the garden as a kid growing up, so we usually have a pretty big vegetable garden. We have fruit trees and grapevines and things like that. But we had some family things come up that got us really busy this spring, and then we had a late freeze for our trees, and we have absolutely nothing growing. So this year I'm taking my gardening off. But from a hobby standpoint, yeah, that kind of is. I feel like maybe that's me just getting older. But I do love gardening.
Oh, good for you. Whatever is the opposite of a green thumb, that's me. My wife and I can't even have houseplants, dude. They just die. I don't know. I swear I water them, and they just don't live. So whatever that is, whatever you have, I do not have it.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay, Jake. You've got the vinyl records that I don't have that I kind of wish I did have.
Well, so, come on over one day and we'll jam it out.
That's awesome. You have a record player then? You can play them and everything?
Oh, yeah. I got a whole setup.
That's awesome. Yep. I'm going to put that down on my list now.
All right, homie. Well, listen, thank you for jumping on with us. Always great to hear from you, and enjoy a little R&R if you get any.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, Jake.
Thank you, Sam. All right, that's our buddy Sam Farnsworth, of course, KSL Channel 5. And check out KSL Sports Front Row with he and Jeremiah and with Sly Sylvester. Really cool. Really glad those guys are doing it. Super talented and always stoked to get a chance to talk to Sam. All right, we will have more. Coming up next, it is the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know that thing that you love? You'll find others geeking out about it on Facebook. Whether you're looking for community or inspiration, Facebook helps turn passion into action. Obsessed with running a marathon? Discover a neighborhood run club group. Start training and meet your new neighbor. Thinking about cooking more at home? Connect with meal prep groups to discover recipes in a new community. And as you're scrolling the feed, you may even find reels showing you top running shoes or the best tools for your culinary journey. This summer, find more on Facebook.
Not only do these guys give you the best jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Ben out on vacation. He will be back coming up tomorrow. Christian, we're going to replay Gina Mizell coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. She covers the Sixers for the Philadelphia Inquirer. She was really, really good. And, of course, LeBron going to Philly is the number one story of the day. So we're going to let you hear from that if you missed it. Coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. But because Gina jumped on with us right at the beginning of the show, I didn't get a chance to hear how, Christian, you, when we left the air on Thursday, you were telling us that your your smallish starter home was jam-packed with refreshes here. There was a dozen people staying at your house?
Yeah, I think my math is right. Brother and sister-in-law.
Okay.
There are 6 kids.
Okay.
My mother-in-law, my wife's grandma.
And then you two.
And then me and my wife, and I guess our 4-month-old. So technically 13 people. 12 and a half, 13 people.
A baker's dozen.
Yes. I think you described it well. You described it like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Uh-huh.
You know, it really was like that.
Like that?
And you described it to me, though, as overall a success. I mean, it was a couple of nights, right?
They got in Wednesday night and left Saturday afternoon. Yeah. So it really wasn't too bad. Like I said, over half of them are children. My 4-month-old, they have an 8-year-old. The rest of the kids are under 9, right? Wow. So a lot of kids, but that means they don't take up a lot of space. So it didn't feel like we had 13 people in our house.
They eat a lot, though.
They do eat a lot. My brother-in-law told me how much their grocery bill is every month, and I'm
sure it's
my
wild.
jaw hit the floor.
Yeah, I'm sure it's wild.
It's basically a second mortgage.
But you took them fishing.
I took them fishing. And you can tell me if this was a messed up move, okay?
All
so
right.
They live in Las Vegas. Not a lot of fishing to do in Las Vegas. They've never really been.
Okay.
So I take them out fishing for essentially the first time they've ever been. Nothing crazy. I didn't take them, up in the mountains or anything. There's a little manufactured pond out in Syracuse that they stock with trout and bluegill and whatever. So I take them, and we're out there for, I think, 2.5 hours. Nobody catches anything until I get a bite. I'm like, oh, guys, come here. I got a fish.
Uh-huh.
And I reel it in. Now, afterwards, I was thinking, was it messed up for me to reel the fish in myself, or should I have passed the pole to one of these kids that have never caught a fish before, never been fishing? Should I have let one of the little kids catch the fish and reel it in?
Absolutely. What are you thinking?
I wasn't thinking. That's the problem. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I felt pretty bad about it. But then I tried making myself feel better by saying, well, if I give the pole to somebody and, one of the kids and he catches the fish, then all the other kids are going to be jealous that they didn't get the pole. So that was my...
So now they're still jealous, but they're just jealous of you.
That's my reasoning after the point, trying to justify my actions. But in hindsight, I really should have let one of these, little kids reel in the fish.
Yeah, yes, you should have. Yes, Christian.
So that is, yeah.
Get out of my way, kids! I'm reeling it in.
Bad uncle right there.
Gonna land a big one.
Watch out, guys. Uncle Christian's bringing in this bluegill. So I was the only one that caught a fish.
Out of the whole group, you were the only one that caught a fish. That's funny. So my wife had never been fishing, And we went to Kauai for our baby moon before we had our first. And I had a buddy who was living out there, so we went and stayed with him. It was super fun. But she'd never been fishing, so I wanted to take her deep sea fishing. And Christian, I don't have a long, I'm not what you would call a fisherman, but I did grow up going fishing with my grandfather and have been fishing, and enough to know that notoriously bad luck, right? My family gets skunked a lot. We're not good at it or whatever. We'll go up and come home empty-handed with the best of them. But deep sea fishing, you have a guide, that supposedly know what they're doing in the boat, and your odds are a little bit better. With that in mind, we spent most of the morning in our deep sea fishing adventure not catching a thing. So I can tell you when that rod struck and we had a fish on, my wife was reeling that thing in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Never been fishing, never done it before. She was reeling that sucker in. She did. Caught a nice bonita tuna.
There you go.
And we only caught 2 all day.
But she caught one of them.
But she caught one of them. And then my buddy Alex, who had never been deep sea fishing before, he caught the other. Because I had done it before, I wasn't going to jump in line. And those weren't even kids, Christian. We're talking about children.
I know.
We got a big one on, guys! Get out of my way! Did you at least let them use the net?
Oh, I don't use a net. I don't catch anything that big. No, I let them kiss it before I put it back in the water.
That's weird.
I let them. That's the thing. Yeah, you kiss it for good luck.
The fish?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
I let them touch it. They were all freaked out. It flopped and they jumped back. It was funny.
Did you make them bait the hook?
Some of them wanted to. Others
Worms?
didn't. Yeah, worms.
All right.
The 6. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I'd say. Okay.
And none of them caught a fish.
Next time, let the kid catch the fish.
Yeah,
Christian.
some of these things, I'm getting used to being an adult now. Some of these things I need to think about beforehand. Let the kids have the experience. It's not all about me anymore.
No, I'm surprised you even had a pole in the water. Let them have the poles in the water. You're walking around doing maintenance,
I know. I was doing a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, it was funny because me and their dad both. He was all about it too. He was, he had a pole in the water. He was trying to get himself a fish.
All right. And you like your brother-in-law?
He's cool, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know, you're marrying his sister. It could not be a rosy relationship, but you
and
guys
know
are
what?
pretty
If I
good.
didn't, they live a whole state away.
Which would be nice.
Yeah, but we're fine. He's like 8 years older than me, so right now, not a lot in common, but it's
All right.
cool. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So he was fishing too. That's your excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he. All right. All right. That's fair. But yeah, I am judging you a little bit.
It's okay. I am willing to, I made a mistake.
What was your feeling when? And again, you get a good relationship with your in-laws, but when everybody was gone, your feeling was,
man, this house is quiet.
Yeah.
Funny how quiet.
Even with a newborn baby.
Right.
Yeah. Funny
Amazing how quiet the house was.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will say, the first night that they were there, our son, he probably had the worst sleep he's had in his 4 months of life.
Uh-huh.
He was terrible that first night. But the night they left, my wife worked her first night shift, so it was just me and the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I kid you not, the best night that he's had.
Oh, yeah,
ever.
quiet.
Because he was like, oh, these people are out of my house.
So you had to get up with the kid when the baby
just
got
once
up?
that night.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not bad.
it was pretty nice.
All right, good on you. I told you I had a funny story. So we went boating with 2 families, 2 friends or whatever, and one of them they brought my buddy Drew. His mother Sally came along, and she was like my second mom growing up. So she is a big listener of the show and a big supporter of mine, and I love her dearly. But they pull up on their boat, right, and everybody's kind of saying hi or whatever. First thing she says to me, wow, were you wrong about LeBron James going to Philadelphia? It's so funny because it was like, oh, of course you were listening on the, I'm right about so much, Christian. I was totally wrong.
Your bad takes live forever.
Totally dismissed LeBron going to Philly. And first thing I do, or first thing that I hear when I see her, or close to it anyway, was, oh, you were not right about that. I was like, no, I didn't think LeBron would go to Philly. That is correct. But man, we had a great time. Hopefully everybody had a long weekend. Hopefully everybody had a lot of fun. My poor 5-year-old Christian. So we went to the pool on Pioneer Day, and she can swim. We've had her take swimming lessons, but she's not awesome at it, right? She knows the swim, float, swim stuff and the life-saving stuff, but she's still, learning how to be super comfortable. And we went to the pool on the 24th, our friend's pool. Man, I've taken advantage of my friends this weekend. But have you ever
can I be friends with your friends?
Seriously. Have you ever gotten on a rough pool bottom where it wears out the skin on your toes?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
So Maggie, my 5-year-old, was going along the wall the whole time, right? So she was going back and forth and playing, and she was on the wall the whole time. She got that on her fingers. Poor little nugget. Totally wore all the skin on her fingers off and was just basically miserable for the rest of the weekend. Poor thing.
That does suck.
The worst, right? On your toes is bad enough. On your fingers?
So the pool bottom was just fine.
Because, she couldn't really touch the pool bottom. That's kind of the point. She was on the stairs and playing, and she would swim a little bit to me or her sister or whatever. But for the most part, she was going back and forth Spider-Man style on the wall.
Just rubbed raw.
Just her poor little fingers. Oh, they don't tell you how awful it is when your kids get hurt.
Well, yeah. My little guy got rug burn on his foot the other day.
Yeah, awful.
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 Well, at least your daughter doesn't have to pick up a pencil for a few more weeks.
Right. She's going to kindergarten. It's a big step.
Oh, okay. That's
coming.
Fun.
Yeah. In fact, we ran into today, potentially, her kindergarten teacher.
You still don't know yet?
No, we don't know for sure yet. But
okay.
We ran into her, and I can't tell if she's nervous about it or what, but she went up and said, Maggie, are you excited for kindergarten? She's kind of yeah. This little shy, yeah.
It's scary. I bet it is scary.
Kids are funny, that's for sure. Her poor little fingers, though. But yeah, I got held accountable over the weekend about my bad LeBron take as he ends up in Philadelphia. Stay tuned. We will have more coming up next. If you didn't hear that conversation with Gina Mizell, she was very good. She covers the 76ers for the Philadelphia Inquirer. We'll let you hear that at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Scott Gerard, not only co-host of Scotty G and the Coach from 10 to 2, but of course the voice of the Utah State Aggies is going to be on with us at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. Stay tuned. More next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Adventures don't always go as planned. One minute you're cruising in your RV, the next your tire hits a massive pothole. Progressive is ready for you when the unexpected hits with excellent claim service for your boat, RV, and motorcycle. Plus optional coverage like roadside assistance and on-the-water towing. Visit Progressive.com and make sure your next adventure is unforgettable for the right reasons. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage is subject to policy terms and limits.
You know that thing that you love? You'll find others geeking out about it on Facebook. Whether you're looking for community or inspiration, Facebook helps turn passion into action. Obsessed with running a marathon? Discover a neighborhood run club group. Start training and meet your new neighbor. Thinking about cooking more at home? Connect with meal prep groups to discover recipes in a new community. And as you're scrolling the feed, you may even find reels showing you top running shoes or the best tools for your culinary journey. This summer, find more on Facebook.
Not only do these guys give you the best jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. We're going to let you hear from Gina Mizell coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour for the latest on LeBron James signing with Philadelphia 76ers, which is the biggest story out there in sports today. That is for sure. Did you see the further reporting, Christian, on the YouTube press conference leak from the Heat?
No. What's the fallout? Because they were clearly wrong.
They were clear. This is from Ramona Shelburne. Who reports, in fact, let me read right from it. But even, he said he had no idea which direction, speaking of Rich Paul, was leaning until the two spoke in depth Thursday evening and a final decision was made at 1 a.m. Eastern on Friday. And then here's the part about the YouTube thing, which is why the saga of the poor Heat staffer, who sources told ESPN had scheduled vacation for this week and was trying to get ahead of work that could come up if James indeed chose the Heat, was so amusing to Paul and the small group of people James confided in during the process, or during his process. Quote, did anyone really think LeBron was going to do a press conference? Said another league source close to the process, pointing out James didn't make his first appearance as a Laker until training camp in fall of 2018. Which is a great point. I'm sure Adele and the Clutch group were having a laugh because not only did it not turn out to be the case that he went to the Miami Heat, but there's no way he was doing a press conference.
Yeah, today is the day that video was scheduled for. And Philadelphia, no presser.
No, because he's not. Of course, he's not going to do a presser. He's not going to set foot in Philadelphia until he absolutely has to.
Until game one, he's going to live in New York,
which still is ridiculous in my opinion. What's the matter with Philadelphia? I'd take it as a personal insult if I were a fine resident of the city of brotherly love. Doesn't like Memphis, doesn't like Philly. Come on, LeBron. It's either New York or L.A.
Or Miami.
Pretentious. Super pretentious. But yeah, that's the story. The staffer was going on vacation, trying to get ahead of the story and work that maybe had to be done while she was gone. It's just one of those things that was a waste of time because LeBron was never going to have a press conference in Miami, even if he picked the Heat.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, do you know how many articles get written that never get published?
Oh,
right?
Tons. Yeah.
And Ben kind of brought this up with the obituaries. Like, you have this stuff ready to go just in case, so it makes sense. But at the same time, this isn't Contavious Caldwell-Pope.
No.
This is LeBron James.
Yeah. No, I think I would still fire the staffer.
You think so? You think this is a fireable offense? Because it went viral enough?
No. They did a whole waste of time. Like, a waste of time, including the press conference in the press release. Like, you thought that was actually going to happen. This is LeBron James. This isn't the second-round pick you just drafted. He's not coming in town to do a press conference. That person wasted their time with that whole thing. Kind of. But, yeah, there you go. That's the story. The poor Heat staffer.
Yeah, again, you don't want to go viral. This is a bit on the show. You don't want to go viral. You don't want to go famous for the wrong things.
No, you do not.
This dude, thankfully nobody knows the name. This dude, man or woman, I guess. This person, this staffer, made a big mistake.
Yeah. But, I mean, like we've got interns now, or an intern now, which is fun. And you have things that you need the intern to go work on. Right? If the intern went and spent the entire shift working on something that didn't even matter, you'd be like, what'd you do that for? Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You did what?
You wasted time creating
Why? Doing that?
Yeah, right. Doing that. That's where you chose to do your time. That? Okay. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
This staffer wasted a bunch of time doing something, working on something that was never going to happen.
LeBron James was not going to have a welcome back to Miami presser.
No. No, he's busy doing whatever it is that LeBron does. House hunting in Manhattan. You know, helicopter in, can't even live in Philadelphia. Come on. Again,
Ben
I brought
said in New York that Taylor Swift's house is like landmarked on the maps.
Uh-huh.
Do you think LeBron's house will be too?
I guess. I don't know.
Penthouse, wherever he lives?
I guess that's what they do. I'm surprised that's what they did with Taylor Swift. You can just walk right up to her house? That doesn't seem safe. For her.
Yeah, it's probably like a complex,
Well, yeah. But still, you can just go find where Taylor Swift lives and go hang out, wait for her to go for a morning jog or something. Doesn't that seem weird?
Yeah, you can throw eggs at her like Wemby.
Oh, yeah, those New York fans did throw eggs at Wemby. Worst people ever. What is victim Wembanyama? In fairness, you are kind of a victim if people are just throwing eggs at you.
Yeah, but
But still, not on the floor.
The living in New York thing, getting back to that, though, like that is... Obviously, Knicks players are embraced by the city, not only because they just won a championship, but because they reside in New York.
Yeah,
LeBron's not going to get that same thing. He's not a local guy.
No. But New York is, I guess, a more lively town than Philly. I don't know. I've never been to Philadelphia, but I know people who live there that like it. Have you been to Philly?
No, I never have.
Yeah, and I guess their fans are a little bit edgy, but that comes with the territory.
So are New York fans, though.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, we'll let you hear from Gina Mizell coming up next. She covers Philadelphia for the Philadelphia Inquirer. She takes us through how the signing happened, how it's going to fit. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.